You know, I don't really talk a lot about the Korean or Asian esports out there. Recently, we talked about the FaZe global expansion. Lots of organizations either trying to cross platforms with different games out there, or you go to different regions altogether. You know, FaZe global being one of those things I'll be talking about in the future as they try and enter the Asian market. I've not talked much about, though, those Asian teams out there, Korean teams in this video specifically, that being SKT, formerly now T1, actually trying to do the reverse of that, branch away from Asia and into the Western markets, Europe, North America, and with T1, we now see that in full-fledged. I'm going to try and call it right now for all of you guys due to some people I've been talking to, which I can't reveal names as of right now, but some very well-noted Korean organizations out there possibly trying to expand their region, expand their player base and their viewer base outside of Asia. One of those teams I think very possibly could be, that's going to be former SKT. I never talked about their rebrand all the way back in February, all the things they have done ever since then, and mainly known as a League of Legends organization. I'm sure you guys have heard about them from there. I mean, you look at their following, at least. Their League of Legends Twitter has over 500,000 followers. Their main Twitter, just over 20,000. So, obviously, very well noted in League of Legends. I think they're trying to sparse themselves out slowly but surely in what could be trying to take on America next. Now, with that rebrand, you know, yeah, I really like the old SKT logo, so not really too much comment on that. T1, though, they're now known as T1 Telecom, or Telecom 1, because they actually had a Comcast sponsorship. So, now you take on sponsors and just change your name to represent closer to that sponsor, Comcast, Telecom 1. And then, of course, you have the irony of T1 also being Tyler 1 in League of Legends. So, hey, they got that going for them. Again, though, it really doesn't matter too much, I guess, about the logo. We could just always add it to our esports rebrands video. Maybe we'll make an episode 2 of that coming sometime soon. Ever since then, though, making some great partnerships, making some great expansions, and doing their thing in League of Legends. I really do think of all the Korean organizations out there, it's SKT, I'm going to keep on calling them that, T1, or it's another org that I have had some contact with that certainly will be amongst the few that actually try and strike into the Western culture. You know, we actually have T1 partnered up with Microsoft for 5G software as well. Even beyond that, guys, they've been expanding their Fortnite roster extensively over this past week alone. They signed 4 or 5 guys a couple of days ago, and then 2 more on top of that, including a coach just yesterday. So these guys are certainly expanding to the Fortnite scene first. They only have a few teams out there, I would say, that kind of are actually viewed outside of Asia. They have a League of Legends, PUBG, they have some mobile games as well, but when it comes to actually westernized games, Fortnite's certainly one of their biggest ones they are expanding into, which I am very curious to see what comes out of this in the future, because if we can see a Korean organization try and take on games like Overwatch, like only a few have, or like CSGO, or like Dota, it'll be very weird to see where this market does go, as we have teams trying to penetrate the Asian scene. Like I said with FaZe Clan, FaZe Global, they're trying to go to the mobile market and maybe in Taiwan or other Asian regions, so what we seem to actually penetrate that viewership. We have other organizations out there pursuing Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG Mobile, trying to branch out into those markets, and now we have some Asian teams out there, T1 included, with another one that I've been talking to, a very well-noted Korean organization that are trying to expand in the opposite direction. This esports scene is ever expanding, and these teams are ever competing to actually take whatever chunks they can, and I know that chunks is actually a very gross word to use, but even more so with expanding their Fortnite roster, what I think is trying to be their Western expansion, their cheapest start to a Western expansion without having to actually buy in with a roster is certainly Fortnite. You can sign players, I imagine, pretty cheaply in that esport currently, but still be kind of well noted. On top of that, they've now announced in breaking news, guys, their brand new North American scrim servers for Fortnite, and I think it was actually practice servers. They were partnered with Team Atlantis. They got rid of that partnership, so there's actually a few well-noted scrim servers out there. Now T1 trying to penetrate that market, which is very peculiar. I believe as of right now only available in the Eastern servers for Fortnite, but this is a very, very weird time in which I want to talk about this, because I really do think we have several Asian teams out there contemplating, should they come to America? Should they come to Europe? What esports should they enter? And it seems that Fortnite, now with these scrim servers, now with their expanding team, that's going to be destination number 1. My giant question, though, and if you guys are T1 fans, what will be destination number 2? The first thing that always comes to my head is imagine if T1 comes to CSGO. How crazy that would be. Imagine if another top Korean team game came to CSGO or came to another mainstream esport out there, at least for Western cultures, this could get very interesting very fast. I just want to be able to tell you guys that I told you so when it does happen, so that's why I make videos like this on topics that could be that of the future. We have many teams out there trying to expand east to west, west to east. Now T1 joins that list as they try and penetrate North America with their Fortnite expansion, and the giant overarching mystery I have for all of you guys to close this video on is what will they try and penetrate next?